Report for Self-Esteem and Personal Transformation. Disclaimer. This information is not presented by a medical practitioner and is for educational and informational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have read or heard. Let's face it, living in the real world is difficult to maintain a healthy self-esteem because it seems every corner one turns, someone is there trying to knock him or her down. With this in mind, we must work harder to build self-esteem by learning positive affirmations and the benefits of rewarding oneself for his or her good deeds. Moreover, we must manipulate through the process of personal transformation in order to make constructive changes that lead us to success. For this reason, we have compiled 50 articles geared to walk you through the steps of building healthy self-esteem through personal transformation. Transformation gives us the ability to convert old behaviors and attitudes by altering them to make positive change. It is a renovation of the self that one will go through many processes in order to complete the task. This is because some of your old habits or behaviors may stick with you. Some of the best ways to develop your self-esteem through personal transformation is to practice meditation in the morning before you head off to work. Meditation will enable you to relax, which builds awareness that will make it easier to get through another day. Yoga is another great practice that you can use once you get home from work or early in the morning before you head off to work. Yoga practices will help you build your self-esteem, discipline, self-control, confidence, and other healthy traits. Subliminal learning is a great way to work through the habits or behaviors and the way of thinking that tends to stick with you. Use this healthy practice to work through the self-development phase. You will find refreshment by continuing to practice each day. For now, take a moment to read this report. Use what you can and use it in your favor. Self-esteem and personal transformation. It is difficult to maintain a healthy self-esteem while adjusting to personal transformations that allow us to better our life. Because so many people in the world prey on those that work toward a better way of life, we are all in danger of being torn down by others on a daily basis. Still, we have the power to change this pattern by staying away from negative people that hold us back from our progress. Thus, we want to build positive relationships with others. Particularly, one must cultivate positive friends and mates that will support you through the process of self-development. We mention self-development because in order to build self-esteem through personal transformation, one must also cultivate other fruitages of his or her personal qualities. Self-esteem is defined as our value we put on self. It is our sense of worth that builds our confidence and self-respect. We cannot have a healthy self-esteem without building the confidence and self-respect. The three work in unison to keep us sound in mind. Our pride is a factor into building self-esteem. This is because our pride causes various feelings and thoughts to develop. For instance, when you see someone with an arrogant attitude, this person has an unhealthy level of pride that affects self of others. Pride can cause one to feel conceited, which is placing too much value on the self. This can develop into grandiose or narcissistic attitude. The mental and emotional disorders will lead to other problems later. Thus, we must work toward balancing our pride while focusing on placing self-importance on the self without going overboard. We must cultivate a humility attitude that empowers us to take responsibility for our actions. Humility is a godly trait that we must work hard at developing. It will give one satisfaction to build a humble attitude. Moreover, one will develop self-respect, which helps to build self-esteem. You hold on to your dignity while honoring the self and others. By developing admiration toward the inner self, you will make a friend for life. For this reason, we must use natural practices that allow us to connect with the inner self. By paying tribute to this self, one can build credibility by showing the mark of respect. Once you develop your dignity, you will take pride in the self without offending others. Your poise will stand out in any crowd. Becoming a noble soul will improve your overall performance and life. In fact, while you are building these characteristics, your ability to think positive and stay motivated will increase. You will feel natural powers within you. When those people in the world try to knock you down, you will stand strong, smile, and walk on by. What a great way to subdue an arrogant person. Since we go through many changes, both positive and negative, throughout our lives, despite that, we may try to avoid the problems. It is important that we start building the suit of armor while picking up our torture stake and moving through self-development. Over half of the people in the world today lack self-development skills, and rarely does one person in the world ever meet their inner self lucratively. For this reason, one must continue to thrive through the struggles of life while keeping the main goal in sight. We can use healthy practices such as meditation, subliminal learning, yoga, physical exercise, and so forth to assist us with building self-esteem through personal transformation. Simply visit the internet where you will find the latest news on the New Age solutions that have proven records of accomplishment of helping many people discover their identity through self-development. Personal transformation and self-esteem. We all must develop various aspects of our person in order to live healthy and survive the many challenges that one faces in this world. Self-esteem is essentially something that we all must work on in order to live a happier life. When an entity feels bad about whom he or she is, it often leads to depression. Stress tends to escalate, which the person's life becomes overwhelming, and that entity will find it difficult to manage his or her life. We must maneuver through the process of self-development, which involves building emotions, physical, spiritual, and mental health. This leads us to the self-healing process, which means that we must search the inner mind to discover the self that holds the answers that will help us to solve our many problems. In order to accomplish one's goal, he or she must work through and abandon negative thinking, behaviors, and habits. The negative will build up stress, which commonly leads to panic, phobias, depression, and finally heart attacks and so on. Stress, when it takes over one's life, will create sleeping problems, such as insomnia. The stress negatively affects one's health in one way or another. This means we must search for answers that guide us to making personal transformation that helps us to cope with stress while managing our life effectively. By learning the way to minimize the stressors, such as bills, one can live healthy and happily. By developing a positive mind, one can build self-esteem, confidence, and feel motivated to take care of his or her business without putting things off. We must cultivate self-worth by making constructive changes, which is what personal transformation means. In order to make these transformations, however, one must consider continuous learning and practicing of natural techniques, such as yoga or meditation. Yoga and meditation will allow you to probe into the subliminal and unconscious mind to find many answers to your problems. You will need to learn some encode and decode translations in order to understand the hidden messages and its meaning. By understanding the hidden messages in the subliminal and unconscious mind, one can put the pieces of his or her life together by fitting the pieces into place effectively. In this area of the mind, one will prance back toward his childhood to discover information that links to his experiences, knowledge, and so on. According to recent scientific findings, exploring this area of the brain can help us all solve many of our problems. In fact, as a participant of this study, which was my own doings, I find that it was very much true. It is true that you can explore the subliminal mind to find many answers to your problems. Meditation is another healthy practice that could open you up to subliminal learning. When you take care of the body and mind, thus it will build self-esteem and confidence. Meditation allows you to improve your brain's performance, which ultimately helps you to build personal skills and qualities, such as self-esteem and confidence. The reason that meditation works in such a way is that it helps you to relax the body and mind, which is essentially needed to stay healthy. For this reason, one could benefit by getting started today. Start a meditation routine early in the morning, or practice yoga each day. Take some time to discover some more about subliminal learning by visiting the Super Information Highway online. You will find tons of recent articles geared to help you make these personal changes while building self-esteem and confidence. Visit the internet today to find hope and help with improving your life. Discovering personal transformation and self-esteem. We must discover ways within the hidden self to make personal transformations that build our self-esteem. Seeking answers from within is the best way to find ways to discover who you are. Once you discover your identity, you will feel empowered, which builds self-esteem. As you make the transformation, it will become easier with each step you take towards self-development. Some of the best ways to discover the hidden self is through subliminal learning. You merely enter into the mind. You will not have awareness at first, but the more you probe into this area of the mind, the more you will find answers to solve your mysteries. Online, you will find articles that help you with learning through the subliminal mind. You will also benefit from learning techniques that assist you with exploring the unconscious mind. In the two areas of the brain is valuable information that you can use to discover your identity while building your self-esteem. Some people practice meditation and yoga to tap into the subliminal and unconscious mind. It tends to work well for some people, while others get very little benefit from meditation and yoga. Perhaps it could be a lack of interest, lack of practice, or the techniques that are not done right that causes them to miss benefits. It depends on the person. Physical exercise will also build your self-esteem while taking you through many transformations. When you take care of the body, it provides you with the power of mind that boosts self-esteem. Physical exercise is a task for many people because they fail to see the realism of good health. Many people will say, "I will exercise tomorrow or the next day." Ironically, neither day comes. They continue putting off exercise while making excuses as to why they cannot work out. If these people would have participated in physical exercise that could add another 10 or 20 years to their life while feeling good about who they are. Moreover, if they would work out the muscles, they could have reduced their chance of heart disease, high blood pressure, kidney failure, arthritis, and more. In fact, even if these people suffered some sort of illnesses, by working out on a schedule, they could have minimized or even healed most diseases. It is a proven fact that physical exercise heals the body and mind. In fact, one of the most painful diagnoses is fibromyalgia, which is a joint degenerative disease that kills. By physically exercising on a schedule, it is proven that you can minimize the symptoms of this disease, including pain, aches, sore joints, stress, and so on. In fact, if there was one to continue working out by building a healthy body and mind, it is possible to heal the body from this disease. It has not yet been proven, but one scientific mind is venturing into the experiment, and in time, it just might be a proven fact that physical exercise can heal fibromyalgia. It does, however, soothe the pain and suffering from this disease. Physical exercise heals the mind. When you work out, you feel good about yourself. This means you place more worth or value on yourself, which is the process of building self-esteem and confidence. Physical exercise in itself is a personal transformation that you can stick with to improve your overall life. Still, you want to find time for meditation, writing, yoga, and subliminal learning. You can get by with leaving yoga out, but by adding yoga practices, you will build self-esteem, discipline, self-control, and other healthy qualities sooner. Go online today to find other New Age tips to help you make those constructive transformations. New Age and Personal Transformation. How does New Age and personal transformation build self-esteem? In the New Age, personal transformation is encouraged through meditation, yoga, and other natural remedies to build self-esteem. We all need to build self-esteem by placing a balance of worth on self. Those suffering with low self-esteem often find it difficult to get through the many changes that take place in our world today. It affects one's attitude when the esteem is low. Some of the best ways to build self-esteem is to figure out what measure of esteem you already have. You might ask yourself, how do I view myself? How does my way of living affect my life? What accomplishments have I achieved? How do others view me? Do I have a purpose in life? Where is my place in today's world? Do I have goals and plans? What are my weaknesses and strengths? Am I working on these weaknesses and strengths to build a stronger character? Am I an effective communicator? Do I rely on others? Do I depend on myself to manage my life? If you view yourself as someone that lacks skills, then you need to make some personal transformations in order to boost your self-esteem and confidence. If you notice that your way of living has some areas that could hold you back from success, thus you must work to make changes to improve your self-esteem and overall life. Use your achievements to boost your confidence in order to make the constructive transformation. If others see you as a negative person, start working today to build a positive attitude. It will build strength of character, mind, and self-esteem. Do you know your purpose in life? If you have a purpose in sight, it will carry you through the process of building self-esteem. If you do not have a purpose, try meditating daily so that you can find that purpose. What is your place in the world? Where do you stand now? If you found your place in the world, you were doing well. Otherwise, use meditation, yoga, or subliminal learning to find that place. If you do not have goals and plans, you want to start working on building these necessities to help you manage your life effectively while building self-esteem. Work on your strengths and weaknesses by continuing the self-development process. Go online now and learn some of the New Age ways to improve your life. If you lack communication skills, you want to practice natural techniques to help you improve your communication. Try reading and writing each day. If you rely on others, go online and read articles that help you build your self-reliance skills. If you depend on yourself, then you are doing well. We need confidence to make it through this fast-paced world. Each day, technology is changing, which is forcing people to continue learning something new each day. So put it in your plan to read and write daily, which will help you build self-esteem, confidence, and other strong characters that assist you with fighting through the weakness. We all have inner strengths that we can build on. Take some time to learn more tactics that will assist you with building these strengths by depending on the inner self. This self is the person you want to come to know, since it will build the stronger character once you have completed your self-development goals. Visit the internet where you will find many other New Age solutions. Take some time to read up on the information provided so that you can choose the best way to make your personal transformation while building self-esteem. Start transforming your personal self-esteem today. Transforming your personal self-esteem. Building character is something we all have to do, despite that it takes years to complete. It also takes great effort and consistency on our part. We need to build self-esteem, reliance, and other characteristics which occur through personal transformation. This means we must be willing to make constructive changes. We must discover the inner self. To start with, one must find the stamina to continue his or her journey into self-development. We need encouragement that helps us to select the best techniques and practices that lead us to making creative changes. Self-reliance is our self-supporting willpower that makes it possible for one to discover solutions direct one to transforming the self. It is our autonomy or self-regulating strength of mind that makes it easy to make those transformations. Productive changes make it possible for us to attain our goals. The self provides us with inner strength. Discovering the self enables us to change poor habits or behaviors to positive ones. Productive change means to reorganize your ways to positive, obliging ways that become advantageous to all. We want to make positive transformations that give us positive results. We must change the negative thinking to build confidence that becomes helpful, since it creates a stronger personality or attitude. By transforming unproductive patterns such as lying on the sofa for hours watching the boob tube to industrious ways such as exercising, one can live healthy while enjoying a strong self-esteem. When one transforms poor habits such as deceitfulness, binge eating, drinking, smoking, using profanity, and so on, to creative ways by cultivating a positive mind, it builds strength of character, including self-esteem. The prolific entity often uses his or her valuable time to transform bad habits into good habits. For instance, a dynamic student will focus on getting his or her assignments completed on time by studying instead of using his or her time to do unconstructive things. This builds his or her self-esteem, since all the while the creative mind is focusing on his or her achieving goals. We must place value on self as well as time. Time is not always on our side, so we must make the best of our time. This does not mean that we do not spend one-on-one time with the self, since we need this time to work through the self-development processes. By meditating each morning, one can improve his or her mental state of mind by making constructive transformations. You are guiding the body and mind into relaxation, which is essentially needed to stay in control of your life while keeping your goals in focus. Each day it pays to assess the self, which using meditation gives you this advantage. When you assess the self, you find it easier to see your strengths and weaknesses. You can decide on the transformations you need to make to improve your character while building self-esteem. Thus, meditation will give you time to deliberate. The advantage of transforming the self into that creative soul is that you conquer self-destructive behaviors. Instead of feeling disparagingly, you feel motivated and your self-esteem will grow. Self-destructive behaviors lead to damage, devastation, and harm. It can become detrimental. It is important to create or transform your thinking and behavior patterns that could cause you injury. By visiting the internet today, you can find other ways to build a stronger character. Some of the latest techniques promoted online include meditation, aromatherapy, yoga, physical exercise, and so on. You also have other alternatives, such as the biofeedback, radionics, and neurofeedback solutions that can assist you with developing stronger characteristics, including self-esteem. Get prepared to challenge your fears. Fear of personal transformation for esteem. Many people feel insecure when they hear the thought of making changes. Change has triggered the emotional mind of many people over the years. The triggers have often hindered many people from transforming their personal characteristics to build self-esteem. Change is merely our ability to modify our ways in order to make constructive changes. We can use a variation of techniques in order to transform our personal characteristics. Change is adjustments that help us to improve our life. We amend patterns, behaviors, habits, and thinking by transforming our ways. Ultimately, we can revolutionize ourselves, which leads one to success. The fear of change, then, is often an illusory state of mind. Many people fail to challenge their fears, which encumbers, making it difficult to get through the day. Making positive transformations is rewarding, since it builds self-esteem and strength of character. We can use visualizations to make constructive transformations. Start with visualizing yourself. Focus on the negative and positive. Are you a negative thinker or a positive thinker? If you are negative, you need to work harder at building your self-esteem and confidence. It will empower you to make personal transformations that lead you to success. Positive change occurs by sticking with your plan while working to achieve your goals. For instance, if you intend to lose weight, then you must stick with an exercise routine and diet. Because many people fear change, the New Age solutions are promoted to help people with making personal transformation to better their life. Change is the development of adjusting to something new. When one transforms his or her behaviors, habits, and thinking to productive patterns, it brings them greater rewards. When an entity stays stuck in the unchanged patterns, it encumbers them from achieving success. We must face our fears directly to make productive changes that guide us to building strength of character and self-esteem. People with low self-esteem are often afraid to transform, which is obviously linked to the fear of accepting difference. What this means is that we must accept differences by retraining the mind so that it accepts change. Thus, we must move to acceptance in order to move ahead in our progression to transform our way of life. How self-analysis can help you make a positive transformation while building self-esteem. To transform, making constructive changes, one must assess the self. Self-analysis is our ability to evaluate the self. Often, when one goes through this analysis, they find problems that they did not know existed. For instance, perhaps one that has analyzed the self discovered that he was afraid of being alone. This is a common fear amongst many people, yet many do not realize that this fear is embedded in the subliminal and unconscious minds. By self-analyzing, one can discover his or her fears and work to eliminate the problem. When one self-analyzes the self, often he or she can make the positive transformations while building self-esteem by expressing his or her feelings and thoughts. This person can accordingly admit to his or her admissions while recognizing his or her qualities and the way that one behaves. Throughout the process, the entity will become closer to the self, which builds self-esteem. By becoming closer to self, one can start frequently mentioning his or her personal achievements to build a stronger strength of character. You will find satisfaction within self by self-analyzing you often. Self-analysis makes it possible to discover the feelings that make you feel uncomfortable. Most times, people fail to examine their uncomfortable feelings, which is part of the problem that makes it difficult for people to make positive transformations. Get off that rump and exercise. Exercise for personal transformation and esteem. Laziness has affected our country and has become one of the largest concerns in our time. Laziness has caused a massive problem since many people fail to exercise and eat healthy. Scientists and many other experts are working harder at finding the cause of the problem, but in the meantime they are coming up with ways to fight the ongoing battle that is robbing many people of true happiness. Many people may believe that it does not matter what they eat as long as they are consuming something, but this is very fallacious. Likewise, many people are making unlimited excuses why they cannot exercise. They think that they can live healthy by avoiding exercise and nutrition. What they fail to realize is that failure to take care of the body and mind will only lead to low self-esteem, lack of confidence, poor healthy behaviors, thinking, etc., and ultimately death sooner than they think. We must have a balanced diet and exercise to keep the body and mind healthy. When you keep the body and mind healthy, it boosts your self-esteem and confidence so that you start living a more healthy life. When one keeps the body and brain functioning healthy and making constructive changes, the mind will flow with greater ease, new ideas will develop, you will stay focused and sensible, your attitude on life will become more positive, and you will reduce stress. Today, many people are not getting the recommended nutrition the body needs. Some of the problem is because people will go to the store and buy greasy foods rather than buying healthy choices. Through exercise and diet, one can transform the body and mind to a healthier state. Your mental power can skyrocket by implementing into your daily life a balanced nutritional diet and exercise. One can truly make positive and constructive changes simply by changing what I eat and exercising 3 times a week. The hundreds of preservatives and additives in today's food have contaminated our systems, so it is wise to choose a healthy diet by reading the labels. You want to prevent blood clogging through exercise and diet. Don't be sitting at the doctor's office later wondering why you have clogged arteries, increased risk of heart attacks, build up fat, and low self-esteem. Prevention is the first step to living healthy, which helps us to avoid bad self-image. Building your image will allow you to trust yourself and your decisions. Eating healthier and exercising will help build this self-image. You will begin to feel better about the choices you make. You will feel energized and motivated by exercising and eating healthy. You will be ready to face the many challenges and problems while thriving on stress. Your lethargy and laziness is restored with a new sense of self-worth. It will bring personal transformation into focus. We do not have the power to transform our life overnight. Changing your way of life requires commitment on your part. You will need to modify your eating habits and exercise habits as well. Once you start working toward better health, you will find that your confidence and self-esteem are strengthened by the personal transformations. Through exercise, you can reduce pain, stress, and other unhealthy problems that often lead to emotional, mental, and physical illnesses. You can improve your life dramatically by exercising 3 days each week and setting up a daily diet plan that leads to good health. If you are not sure what diet you should set up, ask your doctor or visit the internet today to find answers. Start building your self-esteem today. Building esteem through personal transformation. Throughout the growing phase, we are told to work on our qualities, such as confidence and self-esteem. By the time we become adults, we go through many struggles to build our self-esteem. Some of the problem falls back to our childhood, because although our teachers and parents told us what we must do, they often failed to tell us how to accomplish the goal. The other parts of the problem falls on our world and the influences that takes part in our life. Each day we hear remarks that may make us feel underestimated. We start to question our self-worth. If many people are not using verbal communication to cause us to feel undervalued, thus they are using expressions through media, television, and so on to put too small a price on our head. Instead of letting these influences get us down, however, we must work to build stronger characters by relying on ourselves. The reason your parents did not tell you how to work through development is probably that they knew it would take you to accomplish the task. Teachers, on the other hand, try to train us to work through self-development, yet most of them train each one of us in the same way. This has proven to be a major mistake, which is why the New Age is encouraging us to rely on ourselves, past learning, knowledge, and experiences by probing into the subliminal mind. We can use guided relaxation to build self-esteem. Our confidence is imperative to make us feel good about ourselves. Healthy self-esteem is critical because it promotes the healing of the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects of our being. Moreover, we reduce stress by building a healthy self-esteem. We can use personal transformations through guided relaxation to accomplish our task. We also must focus on eliminating negative thoughts and behaviors. Negativities will stimulate stress, feelings of concern, recession, and can cause many other problems. Stress will tear away at one's self-esteem because the person will begin second-guessing the self. That person will often start to feel like he or she is a failure. Depression will affect one's sleep cycle. Sleep is very important since it gives the body and mind the rest it needs. When the body and mind suffers from depression, the entity tends to sleep too much. They start feeling lethargic and powerless. It robs them of natural energy. Stress will shape a person's life and claw away at one's self-esteem. The person may lack the ability to function, which affects his or her work life, family life, and other areas of his or her life. We must ward off negative thoughts by finding time for relaxation. Meditation is a natural technique that encourages relaxation. A person can learn how to live a constructive life through meditation. Meditation permits one to take a few minutes out of each day to relax the body and mind while visiting friendlier areas that the world we live in. We can imagine ourselves in any area of the world that we choose. When you feel yourself thinking negative, try to focus on something encouraging. Look at the positive by analyzing all sides of your problem. Self-esteem is the way we perceive ourselves. It affects how we think. It also affects how we react to others around us. Instead of standing on the threshold that forces you to rely on others, go online today and learn some of the healthy practices that have helped many people transform their way of living by building self-esteem. We all have hope. Hope in personal transformation and esteem. Stress can be hard on anyone, since it affects our health. We all must think of a few things to do to help relieve some of the stress. Although you might think that it is impossible to relieve most of your stress, you still must work to reduce the problems. Therefore, if you would just let me take a few minutes of your time, I will show you some techniques that will help you to relieve stress and boost your self-esteem. What is stress, and how does it hurt my health? Stress is something that cannot be explained really. You know your body, and how your body feels when you are all upset or worrying about things. You might feel like crying or even yelling because of the stress. Stress can make you feel very heavy in your mind. It often makes it difficult to think straight or clearly. Stress can cause you to feel bad. Stress can cause you to have many health issues as well. Some of the things it can cause would be like heart trouble, strokes, high blood pressure, cholesterol problems. It can make you go into a deep depression, which none of these things are good for anyone's health. So being stress-free as much as possible would be healthier for you and your body. What can I do to help me to relax so that I do not have to worry about stress? There is not any way to tell someone how to relax. Only you know your body. Only you know what it needs in order to relax. We must teach our body and mind the importance of relaxation. Nevertheless, we can train our body and mind to relax using natural techniques. Learning yoga can assist you with controlling your thinking, which can aid in building self-esteem and confidence. Yoga is a self-teaching class, which you can train at home. You can take a yoga class if you wish, but you do not have to. All you would have to do is go to the local library and check out some information, visit the internet, or buy videos at your local stores. It is an excellent way to relax. Learning yoga will teach you the value of meditation. Meditation helps you to clear your mind of your problems. How relaxing this sounds already. Aromatherapy is also good for you. The natural aids in many of the aromatherapy solutions have proven to assist people with relaxation. There are so many ways to use aromatherapy. You can visit your local mall to buy many fragrances. In the mall, there are stores that sell nothing but aromatherapy. You can also use aromatherapy scented candles to help you with relaxation. Enjoying fresh air aroma scents will encourage relaxation so that you can focus on making personal transformations to lead to success. Then maybe none of these things will work, so you might then have to go to your family doctor and get something that will help from him or her. Meditation is a great technique for building self-esteem. However, you want to practice routines, such as subliminal learning, in order to work through the complete process of self-development. Your doctor can also help you. However, instead of relying on medications, you need to work through self-development on your own by using natural techniques. It can be done if you try hard enough. Just a little patience and you will have it under control in no time. Take some time to learn more about the remedies, techniques, and solutions in the new age that help you build self-esteem through personal transformation. Take the route to personal transformation. Routes to personal transformation and esteem. Today, we can use the internet to find routes that help us to make personal transformation while building self-esteem. It is important that we all work on self-development to withstand the many problems coming our way. We have to stand strong in the last days so that we can stay positive and keep a clear mind. Some of the best techniques we can use include meditation. When one takes up meditation techniques, that entity will learn that a soft CD and 30 minutes will help them to relax. Since neurofeedback is widely encouraged, it pays to combine a CD with natural music while meditating. The music should be something you will relax to, something that will let your mind wander rather than concentrating on the words. Finding a quiet place will also be essential. You will need to decide what methods you want to use. You may start on a yoga mat in the middle of the floor by finding a comfortable spot, or you might think in a dark room where you can sit comfortably is a better place. Once you begin your guided relaxation to self-esteem practice, you will need to think of things that will make you happy. It could be a place that you have visited that you envision to take your mind away. You might find concentrating on a loved one that supports you will get you the relaxation stage you desire. Most individuals picture something to get them in the meditation state, and then their minds wander over whatever the consciousness feels appropriate. Guided relaxation to self-esteem is important when you are trying to leave the stress behind and find yourself. How to meditate while focusing on self-esteem. Go to a nice peaceful area. Make sure that you eliminate all distractions. Distractions could either close your eyes or focus on some object around the environment. The object could be the clouds, stars, moon, ceiling, and so forth. Once you are in a position to start to center in on your question, ask questions. What is self-esteem? How do I build self-esteem? When can I build self-esteem? Who will help me build self-esteem? Why do I need self-esteem? Focus on your questions. Let your mind roam while you center in on these questions. As you continue to meditate, the subliminal mind will reveal hidden messages. Take some time to explore the messages to find meaning. As you continue, you likely will come up with solutions to answer your question and solve your problems. Since you are practicing meditation while encouraging the subliminal mind to reveal its secrets, you are doing something very constructive that will direct you to making personal transformations while building self-esteem. It is important to build self-esteem. It allows us to place worth on ourself, which encourages us to stay in the here and now while focusing on achieving our goals. You can build a positive mind through meditation and subliminal learning while working through the self-development phase. In time, you will build a strong character that ensures that you will stand through the toughest times. Take time now to build your spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical being and work to become acquainted with the self so that you become even stronger. Go online to find the natural CDs that will encourage you while you meditate. You will find it easier to relax and concentrate on what you intend to accomplish. Take the route to personal transformation to build your self-esteem today. Make transformations of the personal self-esteem. Transformation of personal self-esteem. What does it mean to transform personal traits such as self-esteem? It is the process of altering certain behaviors, thinking patterns, and habits that hinder one from discovering the self. The many changes will help one to transform his or her way of thinking, habits, and behaviors in order to live a happier, healthier lifestyle. By transforming one's personal traits, he or she can converge into a new way of living that revolutionizes his or her lifestyles by giving that one a complete makeover. You go through personal changes that make it possible to build self-worth, confidence, and other healthy traits. The self needs time to grow. Most of us are aware of certain behaviors and thinking patterns, but few people become acquainted with the hidden self. This self has its own unique traits that are delicately shaped by influences that we encounter throughout our lifetime. We have to discover the self by using techniques such as self-examining or assessing our inner thoughts and feelings in private. How do I start the self-examining process? What does it involve? To start, you merely use techniques such as meditation. Meditation will help you with considering your feelings, thoughts, behaviors, and habits. You can reflect on the patterns while rummaging through your mind to consider what you must change in order to make positive transformations. You give deeper thought to the areas of concern by practicing meditation. You will cultivate the ability to focus while deliberating on your patterns of thinking, behaviors, and habits, and so on. You will move back in time to your childhood to see what led you to these actions. By meditating, you can find the whys, whos, hows, whats, whens, and so on. The action helps you to adjust your habits, behaviors, and the way of thinking to make positive transformations. Moreover, you build self-esteem and confidence. One can also use other techniques combined with self-talk to manipulate through the mind and find ways to make positive transformation. Self-talk is a mental communication you rig up for yourself. You use self-expressions that allow us to use your freedom of speech effectively to discover something about you. You become more alert to your self-knowledge, which connects you with the self. You discover your interests through your perceptions. By using self-talk combined with meditation, you can work through self-defeating patterns that rob you of self-identity and esteem. It is important for all of us to identify who we are. Self-identity, then, is our ticket to correcting poor habits, thinking patterns, and behaviors that hold one back from success. When you move closer to your identity, you start to recognize that your perceptions play a large part in building self-worth. You start to recognize your weaknesses and strengths. Ultimately, once you recognize your strengths and weaknesses, you can start by working toward transforming these patterns in order to enjoy a happier, healthier life. Knowing who you are is vital to encourage this type of lifestyle. Yoga is another great technique that you can practice often to discover the hidden self. Through yoga, you can build self-worth, confidence, self-discipline, and more while working toward identifying who you are. Each step you take through the transformation of the personal self will bring you one step closer to the inner self. Go online today to find articles that discuss topics such as inner self, hidden self, and self-identity. The articles perhaps can offer you some insight or other ways successfully manipulate through the self-development processes. You have many New Age solutions available, which are offered to you on a super information highway online. Make personal transformations that build a higher regard of the self. Personal transformation in high esteem. Many people today fall short of expectations, since their self-image is held in a lower regard by the self and others. Because people make continuous mistakes throughout their lifetime, they will often beat the self down instead of learning from the mistakes. It tears down their self-value. We all must go through the process of changing behaviors, thinking patterns, and habits in order to overcome the barriers that block us from success. One must go through many changes by learning ways to transform his or her way of thinking, habits, and behaviors. Through positive transformation, one can congregate new ways of living a healthier and happier lifestyle. By going through the positive changes, it will build one's confidence, self-worth, and other healthy characteristics that make him or her stronger. We must all move through self-development. The process helps us to discover who we are. The process also assists us with improving self-awareness so that we can focus on behavior and thinking patterns, or habits that hold us back from identifying the inner self. The inner self has special abilities and traits that are elusively formed, yet external influences throughout our lives alter these traits. It leads us to discover the inner self through natural techniques. Some of these techniques include meditation, self-assessment, self-examination, yoga, and other mental and physical exercises. Meditation is one of the top promoted techniques that have helped many people over the years work through self-development successfully. Meditation has helped many people by allowing them to probe into the mind to consider their feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. The entity is capable of reflecting on his or her self-image by sifting through the mind and considering ways to transform certain problems that hold one back from success. Using meditation, one can build strength of character and mind by developing the ability to focus while contemplating on making positive changes that transform this person's life for the better. One can analyze his or her childhood knowledge, experiences, and other aspects to decide what caused him or her to act in a way that robs them of self-identity. Through meditation, one can find answers to solve many of his or her problems effectively. Meditation allows one to modify habits, behaviors, and ways of thinking that rob them of self-worth. Other techniques have proven beneficial for helping people conquer problems that hold them back from completing self-development. Self-talk, for example, is a popular mental communication activity that one can use to express his or her feelings or emotions without feeling threatened by external forces. Using the technique, one can build self-awareness, high regard for self, and more by assessing his or her inner knowledge, experiences, and more. The performance of self-talk allows on discovering his or her personal interests by examining his or her perceptions. Essentially, we must discover the hidden self in order to make positive transformations. The action will move us to find the inner self, which is our director that leads us down the road to self-development. Discovering who we are is a positive action that allows us to accept and identify our problems by challenging our perceptions. We start to realize where our problems are coming from, and it enables us to take control of our lives by recognizing our weaknesses and strengths. Once you discover what is holding you back from success, you can start making necessary transformations to the personal self to improve your life. For this reason, one is wise to start working toward self-discovery today rather than delay the process. Explore the internet to learn more ways to improve your life. Research can help you explore more ways to develop yourself. Research personal transformation. We all need to make personal transformations to better our life. Even though it is our duty to make these changes, however, many people hold back. They put forth very little effort to make their way of life much easier to manage. The problem continues to affect others, including the ones that have slowed their self-development advancement. What happens when a person delays self-development? It depends. Most of these people suffer with bad health, negative thinking, poor behaviors, and so on. They affect other people around them since those pour their negative energy flow out on the shoulders of the ones that think they will listen to them. It becomes a repeated cycle which has brought down many positive people over the years. This is because the undeveloped people that delay the progress often spend their entire lifetime allowing such negative behaviors to build that they may resort to other negative habits. The habits have led many to taking drugs or using alcohol heavily. Many of these people smoke. They will also send negative messages to the people in their environments, which too many times have led to crime, unemployment, and so on. We all need to take action today. If you know someone that is delaying self-development, perhaps you can offer some positive persuasion to encourage that person to improve his or her way of life. If this person refuses and causes you too much stress, perhaps you can make additional transformations, such as finding positive friends or associates. Sometimes we just have to let family members and friends go, since it is in our best interest. If you are one of those undeveloped embryonic souls in the world and searching for ways to improve your life, then you are amongst a few of the positive people working on the same goal. You have hope. Many articles today are centered to give you helpful advice on working through the self-development processes by making personal transformations that build self-esteem, confidence, and more. Go online and do some research. Instead of me telling you what you can do to improve your life, I'm going to encourage research. Research will broaden your knowledge, since it allows you to delve into information to find your own answers. You are building self-awareness, awareness, and self-reliance with each subject you research. Research will also allow you to use investigative skills, which you will improve as you study, learn, and explore the many options available to you for self-development. You will build communication skills as well, since you will make many inquiries to understand various topics researched by you. While you are seeking answers through research, it will encourage your ability to examine, analyze, and explore questions before accepting any answer. You build many healthy traits through research. You can also build effective managing skills through research. This is because following a line of investigation becomes a habit. What a positive habit to build, since it will assist you with finding facts that solve your problems. As you examine information, you move closer to finding the truth. We are all aware that the truth is what sets us free mentally. Thus, research takes you through many personal transformations that promote a healthier, happier you. Find inquiries today that direct you toward making personal transformations and moving through self-development. Do not spend a lifetime like so many have done in the world by slowing the process of developing yourself. You can make a big difference in your world and the world of others by finding yourself. Start researching the topics now instead of putting off what you need to do. Put writing techniques to the test. Writing toward personal transformation. Many people think of writing as something that only professional authors do. The fact is, writing is something for everyone. The technique is widely used by people working toward making personal transformations through self-development. Writing allows one to express personal feelings and thoughts without feeling threatened by external forces. It marks the way toward improvement. One can improve his or her writing skills, communication, and his or her ability to take charge of the emotions. In fact, writing can help one build self-worth, which in turn builds your confidence. Schools and many others encourage writing, since it is proven to help many people overcome major challenges that held them back from success. Writing promotes subliminal learning. Since one can express his or her feelings and thoughts openly without feeling threatened, one can analyze his or her liberated expressions to decide what must be done to correct problems that hold them back from success. You do not have to be a literary journalist, author, or other professional writer. Rather, you just need a little time to write down your feelings and thoughts on paper. Once the thoughts and feelings are in writing, you can take a moment or two to analyze what you have written. Most times, people find underpinning causes too many of their problems by writing in a journal each day and then analyzing their thoughts and feelings. Writing becomes a legible form of meditation and self-talk that encourages that entity to work through the self-development processes. We have many ways to improve our overall life. One of these ways is through writing. Do not put off what you can do today. Instead, take a few minutes each day to express yourself on paper. It will make your life much easier to manage through the process of self-development. Writing will also assist one with cultivating many skills. As pointed out earlier, one can build effective communication skills since writing will help that one express their emotions without feeling overwhelmed. Moreover, writing will ease some of the stress from suppressed memories. You will find relief that helps you to manage your life effectively by writing each day. Writing will also help you to build your vocabulary skills and will open your mind to new ideas. Writing will build self-worth and will ultimately help you work through many psychological problems. You will achieve a better understanding through writing. Writers down through the years have used writing as a therapeutic and psychotherapy solution for healing the mind. Once you heal the mind, the brain and body works in harmony more readily. It will improve your health as well as your emotional and mental ways of living. If you are ready to make positive transformations that build your self-worth, it is time to get that pen and paper in motion. You can also keep a journal on your computer, which the writing may be more legible. Some people feel interrupted by computers, so if this is you, perhaps the old-fashioned way is the best solution to work toward a better tomorrow. You have nothing to lose. If you want to improve your life, thus using natural techniques such as writing is the way to go. Probably one of the greatest benefits of all that come from writing, however, is that it can prolong your lifespan. Since the brain cells remain active from writing, it is logical to believe that new brain cells will replace dying cells, which is the ticket to living longer and healthier. Of course, you will need physical exercise to achieve balance in mind and body. Physical exercise for personal transformation. How to build self-esteem through personal transformation and exercise. The body is made up of joints, muscles, cells, tissues, blood, bones, and more. All of these components work in unison with the brain to keep us healthy. Yet, like everything else in the world, the body parts all need our assistance to keep the functions performing healthy. Thus, this means we have to make personal transformations that encourage healthy mind and body. One of the leading ways to make these transformations is through physical exercise. Sadly, however, many people delay or make continuous excuses to avoid healthy exercises that make them stronger mentally, emotionally, and physically. We have to strive hard to make personal changes that direct us toward living happy and healthy forever. Therefore, today is the best time to get the ball in motion. We can start with basic stretch and warm-up routines. You want to do stretches and basic warm-up routines each time you exercise and before you start a full workout routine. The action will protect your joints and muscles from damage. Once you have finished your warm-ups and stretches, you can work into a full workout. Create a schedule that allows you to work out 3 days each week. Build determination so that you will not skip a session. Also, visit your doctor first to make sure that your body is prepared to participate in physical exercise for personal transformation. For the most part, all of us can keep the joints and muscles healthy through physical exercise. Setting up a schedule 3 days of each week at 30-minute intervals will work you toward better health. You can gradually increase your time spent working out, but try to keep it between 45 minutes to 1 hour. This is all you need to improve your brain and body's functions. Throughout the routines, your self-worth and confidence will increase. This is because you start to cultivate a higher image of you. You feel good about who you are, which makes it easy for you to cultivate confidence while making positive transformations. Physical exercise will strengthen the mind, since the mind stays focused on healthy living. In addition, the mind will join with the body so that the two segments of your being strive in unison to feel good. Exercise will also strengthen the joints, muscles, bones, and promote new cells. New cells replace dying cells, which means you can live longer. Many people put off good health simply because they fear change. Personal transformation is change, so we all must get used to the fact that change is part of our everyday lives. Never allow fear to rule your mind and body, thus robbing you of self-worth and good health. It only takes a few minutes of your time 3 days a week to improve your overall life. How do I choose physical exercises right for me? First, you want to think about your purpose. What do you expect from physical exercise? How much time are you willing to reach your goal? What are your goals? How do you intend to exercise? Do you intend to work out with groups or by yourself at home? Why do you want to exercise? What qualities do you hope to build through physical exercise? When do you intend to start working toward better health through physical exercise? Once you have answered your questions, you can consider the types of exercise available by researching the topic online. Asking yourself questions can help you decide on your intentions, goals, and will help you devise plans that will work you into making positive transformations. Exercise will only make your overall better, since it improves your emotional, mental, and physical states. Prepare the body and mind for new transformations. Preparing for personal transformations. How to build self-esteem by preparing for personal transformations. Preparedness. What does it mean to prepare, and what does it encourage? To prepare, one has to research the self to discover what it needs to make personal transformation that leads them to success. We should never abruptly expect the body and mind to do something that we have not prepared it to do. Instead, we must give much consideration that allows time for the body and mind to prepare for what is up ahead. Preparedness builds our attentiveness and awareness. We become vigilant of our actions and thinking by preparing the body and mind. We become watchful of the body and mind's responses, which helps us to see what it takes to prepare for personal adjustments. Creating a watchfulness of the body and mind allows us to pay attention to the cycle of changes that take place in our mind and body. We can execute better judgment by building awareness, which gives us the power to use caution when needed, since the body and mind is prepared. We start to see a need to take care of the self through preparation. Instead of continuing through life with careless traits that cause us harm, we see the things we must change to transform our life into a positive way of living. The alertness expands, which makes it easier to do natural exercises, such as self-examination, to conform the way we view things in our life. Preparation also initiates the body and mind to avoid neglect or harmful things that can reshape our future for the worst. Instead of taking wrong turns in the corner of life, attentively, you can transform your mind and body to positive. We all have inner strength that we can draw from to cultivate our life, while building the self-esteem. Building confidence will encourage positive thinking, which is essentially needed to help us maneuver through the self-development processes. When one has low self-worth, the person often builds a self-defeating pattern that causes the one to lose control. It all leads to poor thinking, health, and so on. Finally, that one will die early if he or she has not taken the time to cultivate positive habits, behaviors, attitude, and so on. It is never too late to work toward a better tomorrow. Visiting the Internet today will connect you with a wide array of health topics designed to direct you toward building a healthier you through personal transformation. Get motivated to make changes today. Building motivation will carry you through all sorts of weather that could drag you down otherwise. You have inner power. Visit the Internet to learn of your inner strengths. You have natural gifts and abilities, such as inner talk, meditation, and so forth. Your inner mind will let you know when things are just not right. This is backed and enforced by instincts, which you must learn to accept and recognize. Recognizing these instincts and their abilities can spare you from making serious mistakes that may cause you your life. Before you go online to research various self-development topics, prepare your body and mind now for the experience. By preparing the body and mind, you will feel more at ease while researching these topics. Take a minute to relax your body and mind. Get a nice cold glass of water and something to eat. Never research any topic when the body is hungry. Instead, feed the body first and then work toward finding your topics. After you've had a nice meal, give your body and mind 10 minutes to relax to prepare it for discovery. Transitional changes often occur when one takes action to make it happen. Transitions in personal transformations. How to build self-esteem by preparing for personal transformations. Within the legal system, the prisoners are reformed through a life skill program that helps them to adapt to the changes that occur once the prisoner is released in society. They are prepared to enter into a society in hopes that the life skill lessons will transform their way of thinking and behavior patterns. Through the same transitional alternations, one can use life skill techniques to improve their skills. Not only do you improve skills, however, you learn to survive and cope with stress better. During life skills sessions, inmates are taught the value of communicating with others and ways to apply for jobs. One can improve his or her ability to manage money while preparing for the future. Moreover, one can enhance his or her ability to make better decisions for him or herself. Developing personal skills will improve your self-esteem since you are taking positive steps toward your future. The key is to listen and learn when you are introduced to ways that will help you develop your life skills through transitional means. With each step you take, it will motivate you to continue striving toward a better tomorrow. Some of the ways that you can benefit from life skill techniques in a societal way is by making transitional changes while reducing stress. How to reduce stress. Some of the best ways that you can reduce stress is through physical exercise. Exercise will not only help you to reduce stress, it will also help build self-esteem with each transitional change you make. Upon practicing and analyzing this simple technique, I have deduced that it is possible that the mind automatically will adjust to positive changes that assist the person with making the necessary transitions that encourage that one will take better care of the body and mind. Another great technique is meditation. Meditation can also help you with making transitional changes. Still, you must practice other good health tactics, such as physical exercise regularly, to encourage good health for the overall body and mind through transformation. Meditation will help you with improving and transforming your mental and emotional abilities, in which it will build your self-esteem while improving your overall life. This is because through meditation, you are able to change the way you think. Since the body and mind is encouraged to relax more often, your mind has freedom to assess and reason with greater success. Before you venture into life skill techniques, it is wise to prepare your body and mind for the abrupt, ongoing changes that will take place through physical exercise and meditation. You can let your mind and inner self know that you intend to make your life much better by conforming to a healthy way of living. The positive affirmatives you use will enlighten the mind and body, and will in turn give you more room to make the changes. Learn some ways to listen to your body and mind when it talks. Your mind and body will let you know when you have overdone your training. You want to become attentive to the communication the body and mind conveys to you, since your goal is to work toward good health through positive transformations. For instance, if you are working out, doing your regular exercise routine, and your joints become overstressed, it means that it is time for you to lighten up on the exercises that are possibly overloading the joints. We recommend that you visit the internet and research the different types of exercises that you can use to work toward making transitional changes. Pilates, for example, is one of the better choices of exercise, since Pilates' outfit is geared to sculpt the muscles while helping you to avoid overloading the joints. It is important for you to avoid overloading the joints, since it can cause you serious pain and suffering from the injuries. Stay encouraged to make personal transformations. Encouraged to make personal transformation. We all encouraged each day to make personal transformations that will improve our lives. So many articles today are written on the internet to offer us such encouragement while preparing us for the swift changes that continue to take place in our world today. We must prepare now in order to continue our journey in life. Preparedness teaches us the value of time and space that we need to make these changes. One can improve his or her self-esteem through personal transitional changes. Some of the best techniques that one can use includes research and learning. We can use the internet to research many topics and learn some of the ways that help us with making transformations. We can also practice subliminal learning, which in this instance we research the mind by delving into the subconscious and unconscious areas of the brain to make new discoveries. In the same way that one would research a topic, he or she will also probe into the mind and explore details in greater depth. By preparing the mind and body for the examination, one can build awareness and thoughtfulness. Subliminal learning will encourage the mind to explore while building your consciousness. The actions of thinking encourage one to become more attentive to the mind and body's responses. The transformation helps one to visualize details at greater length and depth, which in turn assists the one with finding answers to his or her problems. By developing the conscious mind, one gives more attention to his or her cycle of changes that occur in the body and mind. It is possible to build good ethical reasons that teaches you to avoid misjudging yourself. You can develop healthy critical thinking skills that allow you to criticize your behaviors and way of thinking in a positive way. The process will make it easier for you to make the personal transformations while building your self-esteem. Using techniques such as subliminal learning, one can prepare the body and mind while working through his or her problems effectively. One can abandon self-destructive habits that lead that one to harm or injury. When you become more aware of your behaviors, it will assist you with changing patterns or lifestyles that are self-destructive. Self-awareness is improved through subliminal exploring. The newfound awareness helps you to expand your mind. Instead of examining things at one angle, you will develop the ability to assess any situation by examining all sides of the puzzle. Your decision-making abilities become more open rather than sheltered. By reshaping and transforming your mind's way of thinking, your body in time will start working in unison with the mind in order to prepare you for a richer life. Subliminal probing prepares you to use your inner strengths when you need to help with making personal transformations or solving problems. Within you is that little child that is aching to come out and help you to solve your problems by allowing you to analyze and study points in your history. You will use your events, learning, knowledge, and experiences to find answers to your problems by making inquiries to the subconscious and unconscious mind, which will reveal hidden messages. Each of us has inner strengths that allow us to find details from our past that help us to make positive changes. One can build self-esteem and confidence that will encourage positive thinking. We all need to think positively, particularly when we are moving through the transitional changes in self-development. It keeps us alert, which the mind can freely guide us to continue our journey by showing us the way to the inner self.